Kiyosaki, how many of you have read his next book, The Cash Flow Quadrant? About five of us. Okay. That is an amazing book too. Let me kind of share the highlights of what he's talking about here. He has the left side of the quadrant and the right. The left side of the quadrant, that's where all the people are. 95% of us sit on the left side of the quadrant. How much of the money do you think is over there? It's 5% of the wealth, right, Hunter? 5% of the wealth is over on that left side because they're employees. They work for somebody. They're trading time for money. There's no leverage in that. There's no benefit. How many ever hours they work, that's how they get paid. And maybe they get paid a little more depending on their job, but that's how they get paid. Now, that lower left quadrant, that's self-employed. That's really where the bulk of us sit, right? Self-employed. We own a job, but we are still trading time for money. So Kelly's doing 40 transactions in a year. I can tell you she's hustling time for money in that. There's no leverage in that. It's how many listings you can put on, how many buyers you can show around. Okay. So what he talks about in this book is get yourself shifted to the right side of the quadrant. So how do you do that? Number one, up in the top right, you become a business owner. Now, how many of you in your real estate business think you're a business owner? I certainly did when I first got in. I'm a business owner. I own this business. It's up to me. I'm going to do this. Okay. His definition of a business owner is you can step away from that business. You can disappear for a full year. And that business is thriving. It is doing better without you. When you step away for a year and you just disappear. Now, how many of us are business owners? Exactly. Exactly. When that finally hits you, that you have no leverage, it is up to you. You realize that you don't have a business. You don't have a system that creates your income. For me, it's about passive income. What can create income so you can step away and not have to work as hard as Kelly is working. So, and then in the bottom right, he talks about being an investor and creating leverage on your investments. Okay. How do you take your money and make it do more for you? So in this session, I'm focusing in the lower right quadrant. Over lunch, I'm going to focus on the top right quadrant. Okay. How to create leverage. And we're going to talk about the 5 different things that can help you to create leverage in your life. One is time, the benefit and the value of time. A second is rate of return. And we don't often put it in perspective what the rate of return is truly going to do for us and give us. And I evaluate people's portfolios on a daily basis. I help people retire on a daily basis and look at where they're at, where they're headed. And as I look at it and they say, well, but that's doing pretty good. Yeah, but when you start looking at what that return can or can't do for you, it's eye-opening. So I'm going to show you that a little bit. The power of zero. Have any of you heard of the power of zero? Is that a concept you've heard of? A couple nodding your heads. Okay. We're going to talk a little bit about the power of zero and how that can create leverage in your assets. The power of and. Is that a concept anyone's come across? Okay, no one. So that we're going to go over that and how you can create some multiplication. And then everyone's heard of other people's money. We do it in real estate all the time. We use the bank's money to help people buy houses. So in real estate, we've kind of got this one down a little bit, using other people's money. So let's go in. I'm going to combine and put together time and return because they kind of go hand in hand. Okay. Compound interest is the benefit, the value of both time and return over time. So Albert Einstein, notably one of the brightest fellows that we've come across in the last century, said compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. So when you really get your arms around the concept of compound interest, you'll understand it. So let's kind of look at a chart. Let's kind of just look at numbers. So back here, we're looking at ground zero, $10,000. If you had $10,000 to invest this year,